Justin from the UK, Kim from usually Missouri but visiting Reno right now. We've got Matt from Carson City, Patty from Reno, and Seth from Reno, although Seth is being stealthy at this point. He's having some trouble, I think, with his speed today.
Webcam issues.
Webcam issues, although the picture is quite stealthy, I have to say, Seth. All right, let's go ahead and start off with our top story. This came down just a short time ago. France's President Nicolas Sarkozy says the West needs to intervene in Syria and soon. This morning, Pentagon leaders tell Congress that they're working on ways to stop the violence in Syria. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Martin Dempsey outlined steps that the U.S. is taking, including sanctions to pressure the regime of Syria's President Bashar Assad to stop the unending violence in that country. Secretary Panetta says achieving that task is not going to be easy, and he said there would be no effective solution unless Assad actually leaves the country. This morning, General Dempsey told the House committee that the military is ready to intervene if Syria is called upon. Sarkozy, who is running for re-election, did not say if or how France would participate in the crackdown. So let's go ahead and ask the Cyber Studio, what do you guys think about it? Once again, U.S. is being asked to help out in a different country. Is it our job, or is it getting to be too much? Let's go ahead and open it up. And Gianno, your thoughts?
What are we, the police of the entire world? It's like we have enough problems here in the United States, and it's like, and it did really irritate me that he's like you were saying, it's like he's asking for America to come in to help, with no indication of exactly what France is going to do with this. It's like, I mean, dude, handle your business.
Right, and when we're talking about the rest, right, we're not just talking about the U.S., we're also talking about France, UK, others. So, David, let me ask you, what do you think about it? Is it enough already, or is it, once again, U.S. is the powerhouse, so we should help?
Well, I agree with Gianno. I don't think we're the police of the world. I particularly have an issue with France, but because we saved them so many times, and they're not kind to us typically. They have nothing typically nice to say. But you know, it's a world that we all live in right now, and I think that everybody has to participate in making sure that the world is a safer place. Whether it's the U.S. in particular, I don't think that's appropriate. But if they're asking everybody, that's a different thing.
Justin, you're in the UK. You're part of what's considered the West. So what do you think about this? Are you ready to go ahead and step foot in there, or have your military do that? Or are you, too, feel like you all have been tasked enough?
It's a hot potato, really. Everybody's saying that somebody should do something about it, but nobody's brave enough to actually jump in and do anything at all themselves. It's a tough call. I think Syria needs help. The whole way the issue's gone, there's so much bloodshed at the moment. It's got out of hand. Somebody needs to jump in and do something to help them out, but I'm not really sure if anybody's the right person to do it. You could jump in and actually make the situation twice as bad by getting involved. So I think it's a bit like walking on eggshells at the moment. So certainly is politically. It's a really hard thing to do. I myself, I'd love to go in and try and help them, but you know, a one-man mission, you can't do that unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sly Stallone.
Well, if not the U.S. or the West, then who? Let me ask you, Ben, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree with the panel here. I mean, it's pretty much not, I don't think it's necessarily our responsibility alone, but I definitely think that someone needs to step in because it's protecting human lives. I think the U.S. Should do something to a degree, but I don't necessarily think that we're the ones to lead it. So.
What about doing things from afar, stepping back, sanctions, etc., but just making that decision not to send more U.S. troops overseas? Joe, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with everybody else here. I haven't done as much research on this topic, but I know we can't patrol everybody. We have matters here of our own. And whenever they refer to the West is not just us. There's other people that can help out. But, I mean, like in the UK, it's sort of a hot potato right now. I feel like, you know, France, they just got to solve this with some other people. We can't do it. Just can't.
Kim, are you tired of having the U.S. be the police, it seems, for a lot of these events that are going on around the world? Conflicts?
Yes, I am tired. I'm tired because
it's like everyone thinks we have all this money. Yeah, we can keep printing money, but that doesn't mean we have the money, nor do we have the manpower to go and support every single cause that's going on. Yes, we could support from afar. We can deal with the logistics and all that, but we are stretching ourselves thin, and by us stretching ourselves thin, that means that we're opening ourselves up to someone coming in again and terrorizing us.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. And if anybody wants to talk about something, so we've got a full group, give me a little signal. I'll go ahead and call you up on here. So the next topic, did you choose a public school for your child because you didn't want religion in the classroom? Well, in Arizona, public schools are now making a comeback with the Bible, at least a course is. The Huffington Post is reporting that an Arizona bill will create a high school course for public and charter students that teaches the Bible. Republican Governor Jan Brewer signed legislation Tuesday that requires the State Board of Education to design a high school elective course titled The Bible and Its Influence on Western Culture. It would include lessons on history, literature, and influence of the Old and New Testaments on laws, government, and culture. The curriculum excludes other denominational matters like the Book of Mormon, Jewish and Hindu texts, and the Quran. Arizona becomes the sixth state to allow districts to offer high school elective Bible courses. Let me go ahead and ask, Ben, this is your state, your home state at least. What do you think about it?
Well, I was actually talking to my wife about this, and as you had mentioned, I'm from Arizona. I went to public schools out there, and I think it's important to offer anything and everything. The LDS Church, as you had mentioned, they actually have been providing elective classes, and I think the key word here is elective. If it was mandatory, I'd have a different view, but since it is elective, I'm okay with it.
Anybody here think this is a bad idea?
It should just be an elective. I mean, I do like the idea, but you shouldn't force it upon anybody. Because, like you said, there's other religions that haven't jumped on board with this. But if you keep it as an elective and only people that are interested in taking it, then go right ahead. If it was mandatory, we'd see a little bit of an uprising.
Anybody have an issue with this because this is public school money going into these courses? David, you have something to say?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. As a matter of fact, I personally think that we should add more religious courses as electives. And because I think the more we understand about the different religions, the better off people will be. And I think that the separation of church and state is important. But as the gentleman said earlier, that it's an elective, and I think that people should try to find out about what other religions are beliefs and things like that. Because I think once we start doing that, a lot of them will find out that there's a lot of similarities.
Mm. And Kim, you had something to say.
Just that I think that having religion teachings in the, as long as they're not outlandish or kind of way out there in left field, and also the people who pay taxes are religious, so their money's paying taxes, paying the public, paying for the classes to be taught.
Kim, we're having a problem with your signal. And I wanted to ask you, but not all taxpayers are religious. I'm guessing there's got to be some out there. Not all of them are Christian. And what about that? That these are classes based off the Bible. We don't have teachings for the Quran, etc.
Well, I think it just depends on what religion they want to teach in the schools, because I think there are some teachers that are all-inclusive that teaches about all the different religions. And something like that, I think, would probably go over better than one specific religion.
Patty, we've got some Facebook comments about it.
Yeah, most of our Facebook viewers said that they agree. If it's elective, no problem. But yes, other religions should be offered as elective courses. We did have one viewer say, isn't that what going to church is for? So she doesn't agree with it.
There you go. All right, let's go ahead and go on to our next topic. Earthquakes. Natural phenomenon, right? Well, Reuters is reporting that maybe that's not exactly the case. They're saying that the number of earthquakes in the Midwest is on the rise, and it may be because of humans. The article explains that geologists think that it may be due to oil and gas drillers disposing wastewater underground, which is something called fracking. I know it sounds like a weird term, but that's it. And they say that that may actually play a role in causing geological faults to slip, creating earthquakes. They basically dig very far down and then push this waste down there. The report from the U.S. government geologists show that the number of magnitude 3 or greater quakes was 21 from 1970 to 2000. It rose to 29 between 2001 and 2008. 2009 had 50. 2010, 87. Last year, 134 quakes in the Midwest. So let me ask you guys, basically the geologists are saying at this point, you know, they don't have an exact reason why, they don't know exactly why this is all happening, but when they look at this might be a potential reason that we're having all of these quakes. Let me go ahead and ask you, Joe, you're in the Midwest, dealing with any quakes?
We deal with them quite a bit, but I live near the New Madrid fault line, which is obviously a big, major fault line, whereas if we had a major earthquake, well, I'd be dead and so would everybody else around me. But I wouldn't say that it wouldn't be due to fracking, because the only energy sources I see being made down in that area is just electric. I don't see any oil or waste happening down there. Now, I mean, there could be in some areas farther south, but where I'm at, I would say we're just simply having some movement right now. I don't think it's due to any wastewater or human-made problems.
I bring this up also because, of course, we've been talking a lot about in the news all of these quakes that have been happening in the Ring of Fire in the last basically week or so. Those are serious high-magnitude quakes. They seem to be happening a little bit more frequently. Maybe it's just that we're reporting them more. That's always that, you know, chicken or egg, which one came first. But we are talking about more quakes, and their information here is a dramatic change. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I mean, does it concern you at all that man-made behavior could potentially be the issue, David?
Yeah, I truly believe it's part of the man-made part of the issue. My recollection is back in the early 2000s, they started doing a thing called horizontal drilling. Prior to that, they were primarily going straight vertically, and they figured that if they could go horizontally, which they've been doing, they could go across the lines of the oil. And I suspect from the numbers that you're talking about that has something to do with it. And the fracking is just trying to replace the pressure from what they're already taking out. But it would seem to me like it would be a fairly obvious thing that it's a man-made.
I mean, they're drilling for oil and gas. I mean, that's a staple. We need it. Seth, what do you think about it?
I definitely think that we need to look more into the environmental effects of operations like this. Unfortunately, a lot of the regulatory committees are former sector executives and so on, so it's kind of hard to really get the type of regulation we need when a lot of these people seem to be taking a lot of kickbacks for levity when it comes to all of these issues.
Right, at what expense? To what expense are we doing this? Patty, any movement on Facebook with this one? Everybody's quiet about it.
Nobody thinks probably that it's man-made. They just think it's a natural occurrence.
Matthew, go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I was just going to say we've got some evidence of this in the UK because the UK is not on a fault line. Obviously, it's the UK. We're on a huge plate that's shifting, but we're sort of in the middle of it, so we just don't get earthquakes here. But recently, up near the in Lancashire, a place called the Bowland Basin, they caused 2 quakes. One was magnitude of 2.3 and one was 1.5. All right, they're not huge quakes, but they caused them, and it was due to this drilling and the fracking that was going on, and they halted all operations, and they're now just about to start up again. But there is still a lot of concern that man is well, he's playing with things he doesn't fully understand. For the UK to get quakes, we're definitely doing something wrong.
Interesting. All right. You have the last word. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Should all moms, speaking of the UK, have the right to paid maternity leave even if they did not carry the baby themselves? The Huffington Post is reporting that Jane Casham, a teaching assistant from Yorkshire, UK, was denied paid maternity leave because she used a surrogate. Most mothers in the UK are entitled to 1 entire year of paid maternity leave, but the law does not cover mothers who use surrogates. By the way, the UK remains far more advanced than the US when it comes to maternity leave. US moms are only eligible for 6 weeks of paid leave, but because of various nuances in the rules about companies and different companies and what they accept, some of them don't even get all of that, and some even get less or if no paid leave at all. Pretty impressive, first of all. Let's go ahead and start off with that. The UK gets 1 entire year of maternity leave. But what about having somebody not be able to get it because they're a surrogate? Patty, what do you think? And what is Facebook saying?
Melissa, I think every mother should be entitled to maternity leave, and I know our maternity leave is much shorter than the UK, but you're a new mom, you got to get used to your baby, you have to get your schedule going. And on Facebook, Becca said that it's not fair, that maternity leave isn't just for physically recovering, but to adjust yourself and your home to having a baby.
There you go. Anybody think that seems about right? If you're not carrying the baby yourself, you really shouldn't be entitled to have the government pay for your time off for a year. Any man? Go ahead, Deanna.
I kind of have. Well, okay. First of all, I am absolutely not saying that they shouldn't have the maternity leave. Absolutely, a mother needs time to adjust to having a kid, and they need to have that bonding time. Now, does someone that hasn't actually had the pregnancy themselves need as much time off as a mother who had a baby? I don't think so, because yes, there's a large part of it that is bonding with the child, but there's a larger part of it that just is allowing the body to recover from the trauma of having a child. And I don't think it's fair to mothers that actually go through that birthing process for someone that uses surrogate to get as much time off as they got. Do they deserve time off? Absolutely. As much as as a mother who actually went through a pregnancy? No. Does that make sense?
I don't agree, but it makes sense. I hear what you're saying. Anybody else want to go up against what Deanna said? I mean, it's easier for the women to do it, right? You know we're going to. Any of the guys going to jump into this ring of fire? Oh, you chickens.
I was actually going to agree with Deanna. I definitely think it's important to, there's 2 aspects, and you hit the nail on the head. It's the recovery aspect, and then it's the bonding aspect. And I honestly, personally think the bonding is more important than the recovery, if you ask me.
Yes, okay. This is easy. I could just go on for days. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it right there. I don't even need to say anything. Go ahead, David. What would you like to say?
Well, partly it also depends on the kind of birth you gave. If it was surgical or if it was natural, I think that has a lot to do with it. If you have a surrogate, obviously that doesn't have anything to do with it. But kind of leaning towards Deanna's comment, if somebody has a C-section birth, they're going to need more time physically than somebody that gave natural birth, typically anyway. And so there may be some equation there that allows for different time off. But I do believe that the bonding, a mom being a mom, as you know, Melissa and Patty, is so incredibly strong that you don't want to leave your baby. It's an emotional thing for the mom, not just to bond with the child, but it's just an emotional thing. You know, this brand new thing, you don't want to leave it. So how much time does that take?
I'm going to buy all of you tutus for your very graceful way of tiptoeing around this. I do appreciate it. I love it. I disagree, but Justin, being the consummate gentleman, is not going to touch this one with a 10-foot pole, I'm guessing. Yes. But I like it. I like it, guys. Thank you very much. Disagree, but I like it. Lastly, we are here on, this is not really Thursday, this is pre-Friday, as we like to call it. And on this pre-Friday, we're talking, of course, to Nevada Magazine editor Matt Brown about some of the great places to go to around Nevada. Matt, we are having some amazing weather this weekend. We're 80s. If you're not here in Nevada, it's going to be 80s tomorrow, close to today. Amazing weekend. What do you have for us this weekend?
Yeah, some outstanding weather after last weekend where we had some terrible weather. So welcome to Nevada, right?
Yeah, really.
This weekend is Earth Day, which actually has some global significance. In the Reno area, there are 3 major celebrations going on. One is called Picnic for the Planet, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at McKinley Park in Reno. Music, food trucks, farmers markets, educational, that's being put on by the Nature Conservancy. Friends of Nevada Wilderness is putting on an Earth Day picnic from 2 to 6 p.m. at Idlewild Park. And then in the Tahoe area, there's the Tahoe Truckee Earth Day at the village at Squaw Valley. The main event, as they call it, starts at 11 a.m., and then there are activities all day until 5 p.m. A really cool thing going on nationally right now is National Parks Week. It's from April 21st, which is Saturday, until the 29th, and it's free admission to all national parks. The only national park within the state of Nevada is Great Basin National Park in eastern Nevada, and it's a good day's drive from Reno, but definitely check that out if you've never been there. Unlike a lot of national parks, it's not very crowded, which is good. And then we also share Death Valley National Park with California. So both are very diverse and unique, and should definitely visit them if you haven't. I wanted to remind everyone to add us on Google Plus if you haven't. Add Nevada Magazine on Google Plus and share your story ideas and photos. Can also email me at editor@nevadamagazine.com with any questions. And on nevadamagazine.com, we offer our 2 events and shows publications for free. Just find the e-editions link, and you can flip through those publications.
All right.
So I will post that on our Google Plus page.
All right, sounds good, Matthew. Thanks so much. And here we are at 11:21.
Kill the pigeons.
What's that? Did somebody say something and I missed it? Oh, I know. It was Bill Frankmore yelling. Boy, he's loud. All right, everybody, we want to go to wrap it up at 11:21. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. We'd love for you to be part of the conversation. Our Cyber Studio, all you need is a Gmail account, then add G+. Easy as that. Of course, if you've got questions, you can email me at mckrnv@gmail.com. Have a great day, everybody.
That was a good one.
You know, I
get
think
that full page brought up like we do for the noon show, brought up during the webcast.
What was that?
So sorry, you guys, I unmuted because I was going to ask Matt about going to Vegas next weekend, and then Bill yelled in the background.
Yeah, like I heard him say something about pigeons. I was like, wait,
I'm
what?
What made that is nobody said anything apart from Melissa, who was actually the one that everybody was listening to at the time.
By the way, the guy surrendered the car check we were looking at.
Oh, did he?
The what?
Were you watching that the whole time, Melissa?
No, David
The guy
just told me
surrendered
by the way
what?
he surrendered. I don't know what I just know he surrendered is what all he said, and then he walked out. So I'm not sure
It's
what
not a
else
proper
happened.
car chase, is it? It should end up in a ball
Before
of
you went
flame.
on, David.
Hey, if the car didn't roll, it's not the right way to end a car chase. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Got to be a
nothing
major shootout and an
exploded. It
explosion.
stopped.
Yeah. Diving out the car while it's going along and all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want spike strips. Come on. I want a police officer to almost get, not get hit, but almost get hit with the spike strips. You know how they throw it out and run? I love that shot. All right.
Or it's like, someone skipping around and shooting out the window or something like that. I mean, come on.
No, listen.
If it's going to be a car chase, make it worthwhile.
If he isn't driving on his rims with the sparks coming out the back, then it's all right, so hey guys, for the noon, really quickly, 11:23 here. Let's go ahead and talk about it. We're going to have Nevada Magazine is the second part. The first part could either be Sarkozy, which Bill is doing earlier in the show, but we could rehash it if we want to, or do we want public schools, earthquakes, or maternity leave?
The public schools thing is interesting.
Public schools for the, I like it too. It was done on Tuesday, so it's something that happened this weekend in the U.S. What do you guys think? Does that sound good?
I agree.
Yeah? All right.
Good. Why not?
Sounds good. So that's it. Wait, what do we say? Schools? Oh, yeah. Schools and Nevada Magazine. Hey, so Matt, what are you going to do for your 1 minute?
I'll try to sum up both of those things in a minute, the Earth Day and also the national parks, because I think both are worth mentioning.
I'm concerned of you getting it done in a whole minute. I just want to let you know. So it's got to be.
I'm concerned too.
Yeah. So
I think I can do it.
Okay. Okay, but without talking like an auctioneer, right? You're gonna be able to get through all of it without going, hey,
I don't think you have to worry about that.
Okay.
I could throw some country music behind it if you want.
I really, All right,
Hey,
Matt.
it would sound very Nevada.
Yeah, so good.
Hey, Matt, really quickly, you said Picnic for the Planet was where this weekend?
McKinley Park. I guess the official name is McKinley Arts Center.
Yeah.
Right there on California and Keystone.
Right there by the river, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, good. So, so who can stick around for the noon show? We need 4 people. So we've got, for sure, Matt's one of them. We need 4 people to talk, and anybody who else wants to be in for eye candy.
I'll be there.
I'll be eye candy. No.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be eye candy. Okay, David, are you around?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay, Deano.
I'm actually not. You know where I'm going to be at noon.
Okay, oh, that's right. You're going to be with me. That's right. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. David, David's seen a live show. You've seen it already. But if you didn't want, we're bringing Kim over to watch the live show. So.
Oh, cool.
You're more than welcome.
You know, I've been there when you're on the air. Do you consider that live?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. By the way, there's going to be another group here, so we've got to keep it kosher, a little bit more quiet this time, Deanna. It's not going to be the full circus that it usually is.
Oh, darn, that kind
I know.
of sucks.
Ben, all right, so we've got Justin. Are you sticking around, or would you like to head out?
No, what I'll do, I'll let some of the other eye candy have a chance.
All right.
So I'll sit this one out, I think, and let them take all the glory.
Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. Where are you coming in today? Justin's been holding down the fort this whole week, like coming in every single day and then being our eye candy whenever we need it. So this is your.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've got the job nailed.
You
Yeah,
did
thank you for holding it down, Justin.
a great
Yeah,
job,
thanks,
Justin.
So if you need anything holding down, Diana, I'm your man.
All right, so we've got Ben, David, and Matt and Patty. Sound good?
Sweet.
Missed you in Las Vegas, Justin.
Yeah.
I know, it's a shame. I was watching everybody. But my best bit of Las Vegas out of the whole thing had got to be the hangout on Monday, which we're not allowed to talk about anymore because that was an absolute disaster, but it was brilliant at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, what was going on? It's like, oh, Patty, you were dropping out, and then we were dropping out in Vegas. It's like, oh my God, this is happening live. Jesus Christ.
Oh, it was gnarly. That was
What
gnarly. And then
happens?
Chad took over. Woo!
Yep.
He did a great job.
That held it down. It's like, I haven't gone back and watched that and watched it yet. I haven't had a chance. I'm going to later on today.
It's
And
nowhere to
the
be
last
found.
time I was speaking to David, David was stuck in the airport.
Yeah, well, I was at the airport. I was stuck there for 3 hours. It was you know, what was interesting is that I didn't know for sure if I'd be able to do it on my iPad, but it worked beautifully.
My name's Bill. You're at the NBC.
Remember,
right?
what happens in Vegas stays in Google Plus.
Yes, it
Can't answer the
does.
phone, guys. You guys can have.
All right. So, hey,
I've seen The Hangover. It's
Okay.
another reason I didn't want to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I
Speaking
gotta
of
head
Vegas,
upstairs. It sounds like it's getting busy. I'll see you guys back here in about 20 or so. Sound good?
All right.
Good.
Take
Yano.
care, folks.
Huh? What's up?
Yeah, I know,
Come
you
on in.